here in this module we are going to see the questions from miscellaneous exercise number 10 vector algebra. Selected questions I will solve here. First one, write down a unit vector in xy plane making an angle of 30 degree with the positive direction of x-axis. First of all, we have to understand xy plane means if this is x-axis, y-axis, then this plane defined by these two will be xy plane, means there is no component of the vector required parallel to z-axis or along z-axis. So in this case what we have to do, let us suppose it's a vector A which is required making 30 degree angle with x-axis positive direction. This is vector A and its a terminal point we consider here P. Now its component only along x and y axis we require. Since this is 30 degree, so here the angle with y it makes 60 degree. As it lies in xy plane, so this complete angle must be 90 degree. That's why 60 degree with y and 30 is given with positive x-axis. We need to find its component along axis. So what we can do? Draw the perpendicular from P to x-axis, namely PM. This OM length is needed using this 30 degree and OP. But we are given that this vector A is a unit vector. So better to take it as A cap. Okay. So it's a magnitude here. We can say magnitude OP, or this can be written as only length OP. It's 1. Then in triangle PMO, we need OM using OP and 30 degree. We need to find, that's why take cos 30 degree. So cos 30 becomes OM upon OP. Cos 30, as we know, it is root 3 by 2 equal to OM. Length of OP is 1. So that's why length OM we get as root 3 by 2. Means along x-axis its component is root 3 by 2. Similarly, draw perpendicular from P to y-axis, namely PN, and again in triangle PNO. When I take cos 60 degree, y, again with respect to 60 degree its base ON and this length is hypotenuse. So 60 is equal to ON upon OP. OP being 1, so we can put that it's 1 by 2 equal to ON. So this component along y-axis we get 1 by 2. We need the vector, and already we have used this as 1 unit vector. So that's why what we can do, we can write vector in terms of I and j cap. Reason, because along z-axis there is no component, that's why k cap will not be included. So required vector is along x root 3 by 2 I cap 1 by 2 j cap. I hope you get it. Now question number 2, it says find the scalar components and magnitude of the vector joining the points P, x1, y1, z1 and Q, x2, y2, z2. These 2 points are given with coordinates in terms of x, y, z. We need the components, scalar components of this vector which joins P and Q both points. So whenever a vector join 2 points, we can write that vector as vector PQ. Suppose I do, then we need to subtract the coordinates of P from Q. Simply we can write it is x2 minus x1 I cap, y2 minus y1 j cap and z2 minus z1 k cap. So scalar components are x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1, z2 minus z1, and magnitude this is equal to under root the sum of squares on these components. This is the basic theory we have to see. Now we will see the next question, question number 3. A girl walks 4 kilometers towards west. This theory based on the directions. Here, if we consider this is origin, x-axis, this one is y-axis. Theory says 4 kilometers towards west. So here it is east, this is west direction, north, south. So 4 kilometers, let us suppose it's somewhere here, this is 4 kilometers up to a point P considered. It said that she walks 3 kilometers in the direction 30 degrees east of north. So at this point we again draw a line parallel to y-axis to show north direction. This is north direction. Girl is walking towards a direction which is at 30 degree angle with this north direction, and also 30 degree towards east. So this one is north, east direction moves that side, right hand side of north. So we can make a 30 degree angle here. This is 30 degree. And say the 3 kilometers when she walks this distance, let us suppose it's Q. PQ is 3 kilometers. It stops. She stops here. So determine the girl's displacement from her initial point of departure. This is O, the initial point, origin. We join these two. Now we need to show this in vector language. It's 3 kilometers. So obviously with respect to O, we need to show this in the form of a vector. Displacement, length OQ will be magnitude of this vector, and in the form of vector means in terms of I cap and j cap. Again I am speaking I cap and j cap because here we are taking 2D plane, x and y axis. Z axis is not taken here, so that's why. Or we can say that this vector lies in xy plane. This is negative side, that is positive side. So what we have to do, let's see. Draw perpendicular from Q to x-axis. We can say R. Now this PQ makes 30 degree with the north direction. So obviously being perpendicular to x-axis, this angle is 60 degree. 60 plus 30, 90. In triangle separately we can draw to understand well. It's a P with 60 degree angle, R, and this is Q. And this much is 3. Now using this 3 kilometer and 60 degree we can find PR. So obviously based upon hypotenuse, if I take cos 60 degree in this triangle, I get PR upon 3. Cos 60 is 1 by 2. So we get PR equal to 3 by 2. This length PR is 3 by 2. So total length from origin is 4. That's why subtract 3 by 2 from 4. So we can get OR. This will become 4 minus 3 by 2. It's 5 by 2. So we have obtained the length of the component of this vector along x-axis. It's 5 by 2. But in this is in negative direction. So that's why will be taken as minus 5 by 2. In form of component we will put minus 5 by 2. This length is 5 by 2, but in the form of component it is minus 5 by 2. Also we require its a component along y. If this component is needed, if I consider this point to be S, then OS is equal to QR. So in triangle PRQ only we can calculate QR using this 3 and 60 once again. We have to take sine. So if I take sine 60, it gives you QR upon 3. Sine 60 is root 3 by 2. It implies QR, this is 3 root 3 by 2. And as we see, this component is parallel to positive y-axis. So this in form of component we will take it positive. And as this is a negative, so here we will take x component with minus sign. That's why the required vector, this OQ, vector OQ, this will be minus 5 by 2 I cap plus 3 root 3 by 2 j cap. this much. And further, if this in form of displacement we need this length OQ, then we can find its magnitude. That will give you the total length, distance between O and Q. I hope you understand this one. It's completely different from the previous. We'll see next question now. As in fourth question, I find it's a logical question. If given A is equal to B plus C, we can see one vector is equal to sum of other two vectors. Is it true to say that? To check, we need to check, to discuss whether magnitude of A is equal to magnitude of B plus magnitude of C. Now this concept, as we see that one vector is given as a sum of two vectors, this theory is applicable in case of triangle. If we consider a triangle ABC is given, we consider BC as a vector B, CA as a vector C for sure. By that triangular law of addition, triangle law of addition, we can say this vector BA, it is equal to A. Now what does it mean by magnitude of A? Magnitude of A means length BA. It is equal to the sum of lengths BC and AC. Magnitude of B means length BC, mod of C means length AC. So obviously the question is asking whether this length alone AB can be equal to the sum of these two lengths. We know very well by the triangle inequality, triangular inequality, for sides AB, BC and AC, the sum of any two sides, that is AC plus BC, will always be greater than AB. So we can say here I have named randomly, otherwise this vector I have taken CA, so no problem. Length AC, we can write this as mod of C. BC can be written as mod of B is greater than AB. Length can be written as mod of magnitude of vector A. So we can see by triangular inequality, this sum is always greater than the magnitude of vector A. So this statement, what is asking, its answer will be no. As I said, this is completely based on the theories we have seen in earlier classes and applying the vector theory. Now we will move with question number 5 next. Find the value of x if xi plus j plus k cap is a unit vector. Now in this question, this vector is given unit vector. Unit vector means its magnitude is 1. So here we require the value of x. This vector, let's suppose, is A. This can be written as xi, xj, xk. Since it's unit, therefore its magnitude must be 1. Or if I make a square of both sides, still it is 1. I am making a square because that root will be eliminated now only. So this can be written as x square, add it to itself 3 times, we get thrice of x square is 1. So x is equal to plus minus 1 by root 3, which was the required value of x. Now we see next question. Question number 6. We are given a vector with magnitude 5. Units. This vector actually is required in form of that I cap, j cap and k cap, its components form. Only magnitude is given 5 units, and that vector actually is parallel to the resultant of A is equal to 2, 3, minus 1 and B is equal to I minus 2 j plus k. Now resultant here means addition of these two, vector addition, which we apply in triangle law of addition. If I consider A here, B along other side, and third side would be the resultant of A and B. So that resultant A plus B, let the resultant B, we can say some vector x. So therefore vector x can be obtained as A plus B, means by the addition of these two values. So by adding them component wise, we get 3i, 1j, and this k to k, this cancelled out, so only 3i and 1j. This is the resultant of A and B. Required vector, let it be y. This is required vector. Therefore, as y is given parallel to resultant, so we can say y is equal to lambda x, which we do generally. Two vectors are collinear or parallel, we relate them using lambda as a constant. So only thing which we have to obtain is the value of lambda. As x is already known, we can say y vector, this is equal to 3i plus j. Since magnitude of y is given 5, or we can say its square is 25, so this value we can obtain from the value of a y vector in terms of lambda as 3 lambda square plus lambda square equal to 25. It comes 10 lambda square equal to 25. So lambda, this is equal to plus minus 5 upon root 10, or by rationalization we will get 5 upon 10 into root 10 equal to root 10 by 2. Okay, taking plus minus both. Therefore the required vector y, this can be written as plus minus root 10 by 2 3i plus j. Now basically it's given that this y is in direction of the resultant of A and B. If I take plus sign, so it means A plus B, the resultant of A and B. If I take minus sign, it means opposite vector with equal magnitude of A plus B, means this vector, if I change the direction, it becomes minus of A plus B. That's why genuine is to take plus sign only, because we are told that required vector is in direction of resultant. So taking minus sign will not be correct here. So that's why finally we can write root 10 by 2 3i plus j, avoiding this plus minus sign. I hope you understood these. As I see that each question is based on some logic and some theory, and these all are important. So that's why you should focus very well. We'll see next question now. Next is question number 7. Given vectors are a, b, c, I plus j plus k. B is given as 2 minus 1 3. C as 1 minus 2 1. We need to find a unit vector parallel to the vector 2a minus b plus 3c. That means first of all we need to obtain this value 2a minus b plus 3c is equal to twice of I plus j plus k minus 2i minus j plus 3k plus thrice of I minus 2j plus k. We need to solve them. Components of I, 2, here it is minus 2, so cancelled out, we are left with only 3i. Components of j, it is 2, we get 1 here, 2 plus 1, 3, and this is 3 2s are 6, 3 minus 6 gives us minus 3j. Then 2k, it's minus 3, so 2 minus 3 is minus 1, 3 minus 1 makes it 2k. So this way we get the component, this vector in the form of its component. Actually this we can consider to be linear combination of vectors a, b, c. Here next we are told the required vector is parallel to this vector, also that is a unit vector. Let the required vector be d cap. Therefore d cap, since parallel to this vector, now every time we cannot put this sum repeatedly, so let us consider this also as some other vector e cap, e vector only, not a unit vector, this is e only, but d cap is parallel to e, so that's why we say d cap is equal to lambda e, means d cap will become lambda 3i minus 3j plus 2k. As I have already taken, this is d cap, it's a magnitude, unit vector, magnitude will be 1, or we can say its square also is 1. So from here directly we will say 3 square 9 plus 3 square 9 plus 2 square 4, lambda square is 1. 9 and 18 for 22. We get lambda square as 1 upon 22. Lambda comes to be 1 by root 22. Therefore, the required vector d cap is 1 by root 22 3i minus 3j plus 2k. As we are not told anything about the direction, that's why plus minus also can be taken in this condition. Like in previous case, no resultant and all. So this must be the final vector required. Let's see next question now. In next question, question number 9 I have selected. Here we are given that position vectors of 2 points P and Q are 2a plus b. This a and b, these position vectors are written in terms of vector a, vector b. So position vector of P is given twice of a vector plus b vector, and of Q it's given a minus 3b vector. We need to find the position vector of a point R which divides the line joining these 2 points externally in the ratio 1:2. Externally in the ratio 1:2. And also it's said show that P is the midpoint of line segment RQ. Now I have taken actually for explanation. Now according to the theory, R must be towards P only. What is the theory? This is just to explain externally and internally. Whenever like P and Q are given, if point R lies between P and Q, somewhere between P and Q, then such a section is known as internal section. Means R divides PQ internally. If R is beyond PQ, means towards means beyond Q that side or beyond P that side, left hand side. Here I have drawn just randomly that R I have taken beyond Q, but is collinear with these two P and Q point only, then such a section with respect to R is known as external section. Means we say that point R divides PQ externally. Main thing is its formula. what? To find the position vector of R, first of all we can write as C. B is the required position vector. Now by the section formula we can say section formula for vectors. Section formula, this is C vector can be written as R is dividing this PQ as 1:2. Let me draw the actual position so that you can understand. It says R divides PQ in ratio 1:2, means this much length you consider 1, then with respect to R this length would be 2. So here we need to cross multiply. 1 will be multiplied to the components of Q and 2 will be multiplied to the. Using section formula we can write C as 2 multiplied to the position vector of P minus 1 multiplied to position vector of Q. The best way to keep in mind that 1 actually is a concern of P, so multiply 1 to Q, and 2 as we see is for this Q, that's why 2 multiply to P. Otherwise by section formula we write vector C as M1A vector minus M2B vector upon M1 minus M2. M1 M2 is 1:2, and by theory if C vector it divides the position vector, a line joining the position vectors A and B in the ratio 1:2 externally is 1:2. In that case we put M1:M2, not 1:2 in this case. It is general formula, so we take M1 M2. Then here by theory that M1 must be multiplied to B and M2 must be multiplied to A. Okay, unlike this case, means cross multiply. I say cross multiply, so you can write M2A and M1B, and here we'll write M2 minus M1 because by this diagram M2 is longer. So the same thing we have to apply here also. Now solving, C becomes 2 2s are 4A, this is minus A. So 4 minus 1, it becomes 3A, as 2 minus 1 in denominator is giving 1, that's why directly we can write this is 3A, and 2 into B, 2B, and here minus 1 multiplied to minus 3 makes it plus 3. So 2B plus 3B makes it 5B. So this is the final position vector of required point R. Further we are given something, I see, show that P is the midpoint of line segment RQ. This is position vector of R. Now we need to show that this is midpoint. Now midpoint, how can we do? Here there are different ways, like let me show using again diagram R, Q, P. We can add up the components of R and Q, and dividing them by 2 we can show we are getting the components of P. What I mean to say, component of P, they are, or position vector, simply let me use simple language. P, its a position vector is 2A plus B. This is equal to position vector of R we have obtained as 3A plus 5B plus Q, its position vector is A minus 3B divided by 2. If you remember x1 plus x2 upon 2, y1 plus y2 upon 2, the same theory we are using. Now you can check 2A plus B. If I simplify 3A plus A, 4A by 2, it is 2A. 5 minus 3, 2A by 2B by 2, we get B. They are same. So exactly P is midpoint of RQ. That's the best way. So I hope you understood this theory. Now we are moving to the next question. Question number 10. Next question. We are given two vectors along the side adjacent sides of a parallelogram. I considered ABCD to be parallelogram. Vector AB as 2I minus 4j plus 5k given. BC, it's also given I minus 2j minus 3k. We need to find a unit vector along this diagonal AC. Now by parallelogram law of addition, we are aware that by vector addition AB plus BC is equal to AC. So that's why first of all we can find AC using parallelogram law of addition. We'll find this to be sum of these two, 3I minus 6j plus 2k. Here I have used parallelogram law of addition of two vectors. Now what else? As we require a unit vector first of all, so let that unit vector be some A cap Now we are told we need this vector along AC. That's why along means it's collinear or parallel. We can say A cap must be lambda AC vector. The same theory we have used in previous cases. A cap can be written as lambda 3I minus 6j plus 2k. Now I hope you understand, as A cap is a unit vector. So that's why mod A cap square is 1. Directly we can put the value. It's 9 plus 36 plus 4 lambda square, as we can take 1 solving 36 and 9 45 and 4 49, so lambda is equal to 1 by 7. Therefore required unit vector A cap will be 1 upon 7 3I minus 6j plus 2k. Let's see next question. Question number 12 is the next question, where A, B, C three vectors are given. We need one vector D which is perpendicular to both of A and B. D vector is perpendicular to both of A and B vectors, and with C its relation is dot product with C makes it 15. This is given. How to find it out? One theory: whenever a single vector is perpendicular to two vectors, keep in mind that is surely along their cross product. Means what we are going to do, first of all we find cross product of A and B using determinant form. 1 4 2 and 3 minus 2 7, expanding along R1. 4 7 are 28 minus of 4 minus 4 will make it 32. Then minus J, 7 1 is 7, 3 2 is 6, 7 minus 6 is 1, so minus J. For K it's 1 into minus 2, 4 3 are 12, minus 2 minus 12 minus 14. This is minus 14k. We have obtained the cross product of A and B. Now we are given D is perpendicular to A and B both, means it is along A and B, or we can say it is collinear or parallel with A cross B. So therefore we can write D is lambda A cross B. Putting the value of A cross B, 32I minus J minus 14k, we get D in terms of lambda. Also we are given its dot product with C, so yes, it is 32 lambda I minus lambda J minus 14 lambda K. Now dot product, since C dot D is given 15, so this dot product can directly be taken as the product of their components. So C, it is 2 multiplied to 32 lambda plus, then we get minus 1 multiplied to minus lambda here plus 4 into minus 14 lambda is equal to 15. Solving 64 lambda plus lambda, and this is 56 lambda equal to 15. Now 64 and 65 minus 56, it is 9 lambda. This is 15, therefore lambda we get as 5 by 3. So required vector D is 5 by 3 into 32i minus j minus 14k. I hope you understand. This is a very important question. Okay. These were the selected questions from exercise miscellaneous chapter 10. I hope all the questions are helpful to you. Further you can see. Thank you. That's all.